You are the one that everybody goes to borrow money from, and they never seem to pay you back. It's always, I need it for this business, Sha. In Conchelle, something happens. There's always something, yeah. And I get it, you never have to borrow money for everybody because you've got your finances in order, which is really good. But for so long now, you have been everybody's emergency because of their poor planning. And as a result, I get it now. You're starting to think, oh my gosh, is there a chance for me to even build something for myself? And this episode is exactly for you. We're gonna like absolutely deal with that in this episode because what we do now in our 40s is gonna absolutely determine whether we are gonna be still working when we're 65 or actually able to rest and relax at 65. You are listening to Anxious for Nothing with Bimpe, where together we overcome struggles with people pleasing and perfectionism so that we can truly value ourselves and create time to progress in all areas of our lives. I'll be sharing with you my personal experience using agile IT systems for prioritization, especially when family, work, life, health, finances, and our faith all collide into one. And most importantly, how to affirm our faith and identity in Christ during the storm, not just after it passes. Join me. This is time management like you've never known it before. Let's get started. Hey sis, how was your bank holiday weekend? And did you get a chance to rest? Did you spend it with family? As soon as you closed your laptop that moment or clocked out of your shift, what did you do? I hope you got a chance to rest. I want to hear about it, yeah? Come and follow me on TikTok and tell me about how you spent your bank holiday. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here. Last month, April, we talked about resetting because we had the first 3 months of the year, and then it was April. And I know in April sometimes we feel as if I didn't quite meet my New Year goals, so we did a reset in April. And now this is May. We are building momentum. It's all about building in this May. I'm going to make sure that we build something that in 10 years' time, it's still there and we can look back and be like so thankful when we get into our 50s because of what we've done in our 40s. So, right now, I want us to start here and have a conversation which I do feel is a bit uncomfortable in our communities, especially us Nanjas. We send money home. We like to help our family back home. I know this topic, this person's always calling you for money at home. I know it's a bit of a sensitive topic because to an extent, their family, they were close friends, and they see us as, living and doing better because we live out here abroad. We're not in Nigeria. They somehow think that, we got better life, but that's not like always the case. So what I want us to do in this episode is have an honest conversation about it because we are sending money home or we are always giving this person money that's always in trouble or not able to sort themselves out, but we are doing it at the expense of building for ourselves. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to get into that later on in this episode. So don't be offended. You might be thinking, who's this English girl? What does she know? Let's dig into this, yeah? So first of all, I want to take us back to when I was a kid because this is something that I've grown up with. I remember I wanted a Barbie doll growing up as a child. That was the one thing I never had as a child. You'd see all these adverts, you see the Argus catalog, and be like, I want this, I want that. And my mum would be like, oh, no, no, there's no money for that. There's no money for that. And I just remember that so vividly. But for the longest time, I always remember my mum would be sending money back home. She'd be building houses in Nigeria. She'd be sending money for this person's school fees, doing this, doing that. And I'm thinking, what? You're sending money to all of these people back home. And me, I want a little Barbie doll, Where's my one? I didn't quite understand that as a child. And the thing is, this went on even into my adult life. I mean, God bless her, even when she was still like taking her last breaths, she was still thinking about other people and saying to us, when I'm gone, please send this person this, share it like this, share it like that. Share buy, share buy. That's what she was doing. God bless her. May her soul rest in peace. She was still thinking about other people, even to her last breath. And I sat back. I mean, I did a lot of deep thinking when she left. I mean, she's still around, I believe, as a Christian. She's in a better place right now. It made me think like, if I was to stop working right now, would I be able to sustain the lifestyle that I currently have and more? And I also thought like, if my mum was still alive, God bless her, would she still have to be working? because, she was still working. The only reason why she stopped working was because of the illness. But, she had turned 60 and she was still working. And the thing is that I want us to understand is like, these people, they're still going to survive. Like, my mum's been gone 5 years now, God bless her. But these people, they're still living their lives. They're still going on. Life is still going on. So it's something for us to think about, especially if we haven't built ourselves up yet. So I totally get it. I understand, like, it's they see us, in the Western world, or, you might have a friend or someone that's always asking you for stuff that's not yet got themselves out ready yet. They see you in that you're in a better position. Maybe you've got a higher paid job, or, they see you as, you're earning more, so you should be able to give more. I totally get that. But I do wonder whether both of us are losing out. So, for example, they are losing out because they have now become dependent on you. They're dependent on you. You're always going to be the one that pays for it. You always be the one that covers that. And then we're losing out because the mere fact that we're always paying, we're always helping them out, we've not had a chance to actually build ourselves up. So God forbid, should anything happen that we have to like stop working, we'll go broke within less than a month. And what do I mean by building? I mean that we need to build something like have investments that you can fall back on, build something like have a pension plan that you can fall back on. Even now, the state pension, I don't think, Sha, it will sustain the lifestyle that we are currently living if we were to start collecting the state pension. In fact, they're even increasing their age. And the thing is, when we allow these people to become dependent on us, what happens is we stop them from getting stronger themselves. We stop them from actually pushing and finding out the solution themselves and working things out for themselves to get better. Just like the way we had to work things out for ourselves, because there weren't anybody coming to save us. We had to sort ourselves out. We had to like go for that promotion. We had to go for that training. We had to do all of those things to get to the position where we are now. Some data shows that in the UK here, Nigerians are amongst the top 3 behind like Pakistan and India that send money home. We send up to over £2 billion apparently home every year. And I'm sure that that money that we've sent over is money that we have gotten through overtime, through stress, through cleaning, through doing extra jobs. Imagine if we'd had used that extra money to actually build up ourselves here, build ourselves up so we can start to give from a position of overflow, not just survival or sustainability. Maybe we could have used that money to improve ourselves. For example, go on that course that's going to get you into that higher paid job. Start saving so that you can put a deposit on your house, or start investing so that your money starts making money. And then you can use that money that has made money to send to people back home instead of using the money that you sweat, exchange your time for. So if we go back to episode 15, I talked about how to say no guilt-free. And I really do think it applies in this situation here, because I think the action we need to take with these people that are constantly asking for money, needing this, needing that, or constantly needing support, we need to help make them accountable. They need to be accountable for their actions. They need to know that when they do certain decisions, that there's going to be consequences for it. And they need to be able to feel and go through it, like what we're doing here in the UK or in America. Especially those ones that are always asking for money for a new business. Yeah, I've seen this business now. I want you to support me. All of them ones that are constantly, every 6 months, new business. I'm sure you'd be thinking, oh, that $300 or £300 that you sent over, you could have put that into some REITs, and those REITs would have been giving you real dividends back by now. So sorry for those of you that are new here. REITs are like a type of stock that you can buy in stocks and shares that give the highest form of dividends ever on the stocks and shares market. So I'm not a financial advisor, but what I am saying to you is things that have worked for me, that are paying me dividends. So what I'm really trying to say now is firmness with these people done with love is more sustainable, because that way you can have breathing space to build yourself, and that way they are not becoming dependent on you, but can actually grow and be strong and fend for themselves. I mean, the only person that we should actually be dependent on is God. Even God tells us, do not depend on the arm of man, depend on him. I mean, do you get me? Like, Shabi, we cannot be pouring out of an empty cup. If we're going to pour, I'm not saying we shouldn't pour, but let's pour from overflow. So like I said at the start, you know, we are in our 40s now. Let's say in our 20s, we didn't know what we were doing. We're going from pillar to post. In our 30s, maybe that's when we started having kids, and now the kids are getting a bit bigger now. Now that we're in our 40s, we've got a good 25 years at least, yeah, on us before we want to retire or stop working. This is the time that we need to start building. It is so important. And if you're in your 50s and you're listening to this, do you know what? It's not too late. What matters is that you can start investing as well. You know, you're going to have to maybe just continue to be working a bit longer, or, you know, actually start a business, which might be something that'll be better. Especially if, you know, as we're getting older in your 50s, you don't want to be doing a physical job or a job that's going to be giving you too much stress. You might want to start a business. So I talk about my travel business. I'll jump into that later on in the program. But building is something that we need to start thinking about. So I want us to take one action this week. Please take this one action, and because this month we're going to be talking about building. So this is the first in my 4-part series about building. But this first action I want us to take this week is to look at our outgoings. Yeah, sit down with yourself and look at our outgoings. What is coming out of our account that is not building us? Like, how many times have you sent money to that person and they've not learnt that lesson, or they've not paid you back, or that business venture has not worked? Because those transfers are causing them to become dependent on us. You know, we have become the bank of BIMPay, the bank of this. In fact, we're not even a bank. We are a grant system. You know, grant, you just give the money out, you don't expect the money back. Now, once you've found that figure, multiply it by how many times in a year that figure is happening and is going out. And it doesn't have to be to the same person. It could be to different people. Multiply it, yeah? If it's every month, multiply it by 12. Now look at that figure. That is a substantial amount. How could you have used that amount to have improved yourself? What course could you have gone on with that amount to have improved yourself? Could you have bought yourself a better device that could have helped you with your business? Could you have used that money for subscribe to ChatGPT that could have helped you process and do things faster? Or could you have used that money to have even started a business, like a travel business, for example? The startup cost for this travel business is extremely low, and the rewards are extremely high if you put your effort and work into it. I mean, you might think this is selfish, but it's not. It is absolutely being a good steward. Because one thing I want to touch on, you remember that parable of the talents? There's that one that had only one talent, and that talent was taken away from them. Have you ever stopped to think, you know, why was the talent given to the one that worked the hardest, that always had the most money made already? Think about it. So as I've been alluded to, you know, when my mum died and passed away, when my mum passed, I realized two things struck me really hard. And one of them was that life needed to change. I realized that if for some reason I myself had to stop working, then I did not have a secondary income coming in. My main salary was my only income. And I also realized that I had been working towards rest. I saw rest as a luxury rather than working from rest. So when I came across this travel business that my friend introduced me to, it ticked both of those boxes. It was an opportunity for me to rest, because I see traveling as an opportunity to rest, relax and refresh. And it was also a secondary income. And a great thing about it was that I did not have to have 2 jobs, because I've got kids, I've got a marriage, I've got a house. I ain't got time to be looking for another second job. This role was something that I can fit around my current lifestyle. And it didn't take up too much time. Maybe I'll spend the most an hour a day on it. But most importantly, it also gave me the opportunity to build. DM me on TikTok, the links are in the notes, and let's talk about how you can also build. Before we go, I just want to mention, like, you know, think about this seriously. You know, taking time to improve yourself is going to increase that gap between your expenses and your income. And it is not selfish, you know, it is very, very much necessary, because as you grow, the people around you are going to grow too. You know, you can't pour out of an empty cup. You need to build first. So as I mentioned earlier, next week I'll be continuing the theme on building. I'm going to be sharing with you a specific system that I used when I was 14 years old. And I've used that system to build my career, to build my finances and also achieve so many goals, like, you know, buying a house with my husband. And I'm also using the same system again to build my travel business. You absolutely don't want to miss it. So subscribe if you have not subscribed. You can find me on Spotify, and I'm also on YouTube, and I'm also on Apple Podcasts. I release episodes every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Until then, remember, you are anxious for nothing.